Welcome to Seattle's Sound, Then and Now. I'm your host, Owen Wright. I'd like to thank my director, David Yama, producer of the pod, for being here again. We tape this on a Sunday afternoon, and we are starting a brand new line of interviews with great female artists out of Seattle. We've done 5 fellas. Now we're going to move on to female artists and also artists that are photographers, painters, musicians. So we're going to cover the whole as best we can. I was talking to David about this the other day. I'm like, good God, this could go on. Dave, this could go on forever.
Yes, as long as it's related to Seattle's sound. Artists who are related to it.
Correct.
Our guest is absolutely
And also guests that now live out of town. I think I'd like to get the drummer, Dave Abarizi. I already reached out to him.
Yeah.
But he lives in like Boingo Boingo.
Really?
Like some fucking South Pacific island. Good on you, Dave. Way to go, buddy. I love the beach, too. Anyways, today on Seattle Sound, Then and Now, I am happy to introduce a super great friend of mine, a very talented photographer, artist, Ms. Karen Mason Blair. Hi, Karen. Welcome to the Pod Watchcast, baby.
Hi, Owen. Thanks for having me.
You are super welcome. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
I think we're just going to get right to it.
Can't wait.
Here it comes. How did we first meet?
Oh my gosh. I don't exactly remember, but it was a million years ago for sure. I don't know. How did we first meet? It was at a concert, maybe. Oh no, maybe a practice.
It had something to do. I
can never remember you not being my friend. So that's where my memory just like.
We did bring up your name when you came peeling up in your Camaro at the Guerrilla Gardens, which remember that massive fight broke out, and you're like, "I'll be right back. Meet me out front," and you come buzzing up in your gold Camaro. We loved that thing, didn't we?
Oh my gosh, it was
a
so
68 or a 69?
69, fully restored. It was like I had it in custom car shows.
Oh, it was just bitching.
It was so bitching.
Anyways, we met before that, but yeah, we've been friends and for so long. It's just a blessing in my life.
Oh, 100%. No, it's like silver and gold. Like, you're my golden friend. Like, yeah. I mean, we go so far back with so many great memories.
Been really cool. Well, now that we didn't figure that one out real well.
That's okay. Like, do we need that answer? I just love you. Don't worry about it.
So the premise of the show with my guests is to talk to you guys about how you first got into doing what you've done for many years, and now you're famous. Everybody knows who you are. They know your photos. Iconic. Right here, we've got a picture of Chris, Mr. Cornell that Karen took. When did you take that one? What year?
That was 91. Yeah. And so Soundgarden came down to my studio, and we're doing some promo pictures, and that's the viaduct behind it. And so,
oh yeah, no shit.
Yeah. And so
I remember that studio. We took photos there.
Tons of photos there. Yeah.
I almost fell out that window.
Probably true.
Not kidding.
Not kidding. So so Soundgarden comes in, and we're gonna do these photos, and I didn't even know they had a song called Jesus Christ Pose. They were writing it at the time. And so Chris Cornell just gets up into my window, and I'm like, I didn't ask him to do it or anything. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I took 3 frames. 1, 2, 3. And that's the shot. That Chris knew they was writing a song, and Chris gave me that. Chris gave me that photo.
We all love Soundgarden. Oh my God. I think it's my favorite band out of Seattle. Nothing against any of the other guys that I'm friends with, but actually I love all those bands. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
I really
why
do.
Pick? Like, I don't even like when people bait me. What's your favorite? I go,
Yeah.
why would you choose? It's like favorite child. It's like, are you kidding? I love them all.
It's just being silly.
Yeah, right. But you can have like nuances that you like. I appreciate this guitar playing or whatever. I mean, but I never pin them next to each other because we never did that back then. So why do it now, right?
Don't
you know,
do
like
it
we just
now.
all loved everybody. That's why we have a Mad Season, and that's why we have a SAP, and that's why we have a Temple of the Dog.
Absolutely.
Because we weren't like that. And so, yeah, just I just stay away from all those questions.
I
Because
wanted
I'm
to
just a
ask
lover.
you, now that I remember that space, when you were shooting the Soundgarden guys.
Oh yeah, well, first off, always ridiculous, So we always have like music blaring, at the studio or whatever, and Matt Cameron's like, da-da-da-da-da. And then I'm like, move the Skittles away from Matt Cameron, because I always had food because no one ate. We just didn't eat very much in the '90s, and there weren't like stores or easy to get food or whatever. So all of my shoots, I'd always have snacks and stuff, and so Matt Cameron comes in and we were just laughing. And then funny thing is Kim Thale brings in a cassette tape and he's like, guys, have to listen to this. This is Nirvana. And we listened to it. We just put it on fucking loop. And it was the first time we heard it. And we were just like, holy shit. Mind blown. And then we were just rocking out to Nirvana while doing the Soundgarden session. But that's how we were rolling back then.
When did you start getting into doing photography? I kind of remember, I don't remember when you first did, but you were already doing it when I first met you. But tell us, when did you get your first camera?
Well, I always, growing up, I always had a camera in my hand, So then I was managing a band in high school. And so we needed promo photos. So I started calling all these photographers. And I was like, you guys, I can buy a camera for the amount that these people are charging. And they go, do it. And so I did. So I bought my first, SLR. And so then next thing you know, I'm taking the pictures and they're like, oh my God, these are amazing. And I was like, oh, you're just saying that. And then I started to look around, because I'd been studying photography. And I was like, okay, maybe these are pretty good.
So when you would go and do the photos, were you taking them to a dark room, or did you make a dark room at your house? How were you doing the 8x10s? Because that's basically what we all had done back. Oh, God. I mean, we met in the Mistrust days. So we're talking 83.
Yeah.
And you did our first 8x10, which I saw yesterday at Silver Platters. Went out there. They re-released the record. God only knows why. But it was super fun. I ran into Rick Pierce and some other people I hadn't seen for a super long time. But so when you were developing these photos, were you doing it on your own?
Yeah, in the beginning. Well, first off, I was developing them because I had joined the yearbook team. So I was developing them in the dark room. And then my studio had a dark room down the hall.
At your high school?
At my high school.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I went on to get my commercial photography degree here in Seattle. And then, of course, that had a dark room. So I did all those. That's probably where I printed your pictures. Yeah, in that dark room.
After high school, you obviously liked shooting bands and stuff. What were some of the very first bands that you shot?
Well, yeah. So this would have been like in the 80s, right? Like early 80s. And then, so crazy story is my girlfriend from high school called me like 2 years ago. I hadn't seen her for, I don't even know how many years. And then she's like, remember we went to that Tom Petty concert? And I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to go shoot Tom Petty. And so I get my camera and I get my lens and I put my camera in my sock and I put my lens in my other sock and we go in through the security, and then we make our way all the way up front. And me and Lisa had bought these like Tom Petty straw hats, and we just look so smoking cute, And so I make my way all the way up. I'm like, I don't want front row. So I'm like third row back. And then so I put my camera together and I'm taking these pictures of Tom Petty and I'm shooting, I'm taking these pictures and all of a sudden I realize Tom Petty's looking right at me and giving me the shot. And I'm like, I actually come away from the camera. I'm like, oh. Then I go back to the camera and he's looking at me.
Still looking at you.
And he's giving me the shot. And I'm like,
do you remember what song he was playing? I'm just asking.
Dude, that was like a million years ago. It might
question.
Come to me, but give me a second.
You're probably more looking at him and focused on him now at that point, right?
Thank you. Yeah. And so then I'm like, then I think to myself, holy shit, if Tom Petty's looking at me, I can do this. I can do this forever. Because he was looking at me. I was like, oh my gosh.
You got the official okie dokie from Tom.
Can you believe that?
I can believe that because I know all of the people that you've shot. And I was just thinking, and I heard a great podcast yesterday about Radiohead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you shot them, right?
Yeah.
And Tom was talking about making their records, and when I was driving home, I was thinking of you because I know that you shot them for what album?
Well, I did Creep. I actually did their Creep album, European.
Yeah,
Can you believe
that
it?
was
I mean, that's insane. And actually, those pictures are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Can you believe my pictures are in the Rock and Roll Hall of
I
Fame?
love that. Tell us about some of the other famous people that you've shot.
Well, I don't know. I mean, my list is really long because I'm 30 years into my career, so it's very hard to say exactly everyone that I've done. But
Name a couple of the shoots that you were most like, oh my god, I'm nervous. And being nervous is good.
oh, absolutely.
A good nervous, not a bad. I'm gonna go throw up before I do this.
Oh,
Nervous.
yeah. It's like Duran Duran. Like, so I get a call and the guy, I went into his office and this was the craziest story. So I'm down in LA and I'm visiting my friend at Capitol Records and, and this guy walks in and it's Larry Jenkins. Okay. Holy shit.
Really?
And so, yeah. And so he
For
goes,
people who don't know who Larry Jenkins is, describe.
well, first off, he worked at Capitol and he went on to be the president of Columbia. So
A&R guy when you met him.
yeah, yeah. And so he goes, "Can I look at your portfolio?" And I'm like, "Sure." So he grabs the book and he takes it back to his office. So I go walking with him, and he just starts flipping like this. And he goes, "You shot Nirvana?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's flipping. He's like, "You shot Mother Love Bone?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, and he gets to the end, closes the book, and he goes, "You're gonna shoot Duran Duran."
What?
I am like, "What?" Like,
I've never heard this story. That is,
no, in 5 freaking minutes, I
you
land
can
this
say
thing.
fuck too. That is fucking cool
Oh,
as
it was
shit.
so fucking cool. And I was like, wow.
Atta girl.
And then I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm gonna shoot the most over-photographed band in the world, right? And now this is in the 90s, right? So I'm gonna take their pictures for Ordinary World, their comeback album. And so I started doing all this research, like how am I going to take a picture of Duran Duran that no one's ever taken before? So I do all this research and it comes to me, I'm like, I'm going to shoot them in a service elevator because I'm doing all this grunge stuff, right? And so here, so I fly down to Hollywood and I rent the studio and Duran Duran comes in and they're like, Karen, who have you been shooting? And I'm like, well, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, whatever, Alice in Chains. And they're like, who?
Yeah.
I go, believe me, you don't know them now, but you will. And they go, oh, okay. So we do a couple shoots in the studio, and then I go, okay, guys, we're gonna go out to the hallway, we're gonna walk down, and we're gonna do this in the service elevator. So we get out there, and I got my lights up, and so we're shooting in the service elevator, and I'm not kidding you. Simon Le Bon says to me, Karen, we've never shot in a service elevator. I'm like, believe me,
We are now,
I know.
buddy.
Believe me, I know.
You did your research.
Dude, and you know what? That was her favorite picture. He even said it. He goes, Karen, I just want you to know this is our favorite band picture we've ever taken.
How funny would it have been is if they're in the service elevator and you're shooting them, and then all of a sudden because service elevators can go up and down with the cage open or close because they're cargo elevators. How funny it would have been if somebody down below hit it and then you just shoot them as they're going, and they're looking up going, Karen, where are we going, Karen?
Going, Karen.
That would have been great too.
We got to remember that one.
Yeah. That's hot.
So you brought this aesthetic to the table.
Well, and I put him in a grungy situation, whereas like all the other thing is very high key. It's very, model, very fashiony and whatever. And I was just like, oh, I'm going to put him grungy.
On that note, grungy.
Mhm.
Hello. We're going to take a quick break. Seattle Then and Now is brought to you by Annie Irene's Coffee Shop, downtown Des Moines, the best coffee in Des Moines. I go there every morning. Also brought to you by Des Moines, the cleaner, Seattle dry cleaning with pressing services and excellent service. Also brought to you by Design Develop for all your construction and carpentry needs, facilitation and building. Design Develop. We are back with Seattle's Sound Then and Now, interviewing one of my favorites, Karen Mason Blair.
Hello.
Why are we talking like this?
Well, why not?
Oh, that's right. We were talking about Duran Duran.
What,
You
Duran
started
Duran?
talking in an
Love
English.
Duran Duran. They're so feminine.
Started talking in an English accent.
We've never
Isn't
been
that-
in a service elevator before.
Isn't that fun? Okay, let's get back.
Delightful. Are you kidding?
get
We
back to-
love them.
Delightful.
Let's get back to business. David Simmerdam, boy. That's my director, David Yama. Actually, if it wasn't for David, this show wouldn't be fucking happening.
That's true. So thank you, David. You're a
Thanks,
rock.
D.
He's a rock star.
He's a rock star.
He's a rock star.
So, Karen,
Owen.
ew,
Mm.
I want to talk about your awesome book that came out a little while ago, but it's still super fresh, and it is called
Love the sound of the cellophane.
The Flannel Years. And in this book, Karen and Chris Novoselic, who wrote the foreword to it, amazing book. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, where can people find this?
Well, it's on Amazon, and then you can get it at Easy Street and on my website.
And this book,
And what is your website?
Oh, KarenMasonBlair.com. It's pretty easy.
this book has so many. You really need to get this book. I mean, there's everybody in it from Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Screaming Trees, My Sister's Machine, Grunt Truck,
Everclear.
Everclear,
Posies. I even put the Posies in there. Oh, Candlebox.
Candlebox.
Give a mention, yeah.
So this book, The Flannel Years, if you really want to check out some just amazing photos, you got to get it. It's super cool. It's kind of my coffee table book. When friends come over, I'm like, check this out. And of course, I always have my 2 pages marked with a Post-it note.
Well, yeah, there's some really good pictures of you, Oh. I'd brag that too, baby.
So tell us.
I'll show you. I was going to show you. Here's my picture of me with Kurt Cobain and Chris Novoselic.
Oh my God, let's see that.
So as rare as it is to even have pictures of Kurt Cobain, it's even more rare to be in the photo.
In the photo with
Kurt
him.
Cobain. Yeah.
Aw.
Oh, and then look at here I am with Eddie Vedder at the record release of 10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Eddie just gave me that hat.
He was.
Gave me that hat.
He was just a young lad then.
Very young lad. Look at here he is. First Pearl Jam show ever. He has just flown up from San Diego.
Was that at the Rock Candy?
It was at the off ramp actually, which is now the El Corazon.
Right.
And I was the only photographer that took pictures. The only known photos of Pearl Jam's first concert are mine. And mind blow, I only shot one roll of film.
That's unfortunate,
Thank God I did.
right?
No,
Were you having a little bit too much fun?
No. Man, if you want to say starving musicians or starving artists or broke ass people, that was us.
All of the above. Remember Hash after the bash?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, usually I'd shoot a half a roll because I was so damn broke. I mean, I don't know.
How much was a roll of film back then? Do you remember?
Oh, I think there was like, I don't know, $7, $8. And then you had to develop it, which was like 25 if you didn't want to develop it. So sometimes, like, eventually I just started having my film developed, but I might have developed that roll of film. Oh my gosh. Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, just a blessing to have your talent in our lives, because when we all look back on those photos, I have nothing but amazing memories. So thanks for fucking mastering your craft.
Well, and I think that for me, it's like what I think is really special is that nobody liked their photos taken like in the 90s, but everyone liked me. So then, it was
helps.
really, really cool. And then like the 80s, like I mean, because I did a lot of bands in the 80s, and they all, I'm going to put my, make my hair big and put makeup on. And then the 90s, everyone's like, no makeup. We're just so grungy,
I'm wearing my work clothes to the photo shoot, which I did all the time.
Yeah, but that was the look, right? And so then, but what happens is that my pictures are very relational. And so that's what people see. It's just like my new thing is that, not my new thing, but my thing that I say now is like, I got to make art with my friends. You know what I mean? Whereas I didn't say, oh, I'm going to take this picture of you. I'd say, hey, you guys, do you want to do this? Do you want this in purple? Does red look good? Hey, whatever, And so then I'm collaborating with you
Interesting.
because there's no, like, my ego isn't bigger than yours and your ego isn't bigger than mine. It's like, what do we want to do together? Like,
Oh.
even Nick said, we want to do this walking shot. So then I was like, hey, you want to do it like this? And I go, yeah. And then even like Chris goes, Karen, do this, get up in my window, you know? And so everybody, because like, if you think about it, I'm taking pictures of musicians, like they're freaking creatives, right? And it's like, why wouldn't I want to tap into that creative energy? Even if maybe they're not visual, doesn't matter. But so then I got to make all of this with all of you. And so that's where my story is. And man, what a treasure. What a life.
It's been super cool to see where you're at then and where you're at now.
Right before I was coming over here, I was like, oh, I'm going to pull up my sister's machine file. Of course, it's been in my file. I have like file cabinets of photos, and it's been in there for like 30 years. And so,
I don't know.
Here, wait, okay, so here's
file sounds like you could use something against us. I just don't know.
Oh, but I'm very nice. Like I never want to be a paparazzi. No one likes a paparazzi.
Got an Oppo research file.
We've got operatives in the field. Fuck off. We'll fuck you up.
Oh my gosh. So look, I found one of these pictures of my sister's machine
God.
in the snow that everybody signed.
That is from the first MTV video we did for a song called I'm Sorry that came out on the Diva record that we shot a video up in that lake bed in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
And Karen came up, did photos of us in between us shooting that video. And I do remember it was motherfucking cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've had a lot of people watch that video and they're like, so what soundstage in LA were you on? We're like, no, we didn't have money like that. We had to, the guy that actually shot this video, shot the Man in the Box video. I got to remember his name. And the Alice guys were nice enough to say, hey, our friends have a record coming out on Caroline, Virgin. You know, they don't have a super big budget. Can you hook him up?
Yeah, he was super nice. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
God,
you know, it's just like a 30-year-old memory. You think we could just recall it like that. I mean.
His name was Paul Rackman.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Paul Rackman.
Love that guy.
Flew him and his team up with their film cameras. And when we told him where we were going, he's like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, let's do it.
Because he's from LA.
He's from LA. They don't hang in the cold. They'll do it on a film set or something.
In that sense, it wasn't like a really highly planned out shoot in that.
No.
It was just kind of like, there, I think that'll look cool. And he's like, okay.
It was.
And then you were still able to make it.
Well, I don't even know what came first, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Because I think we were thinking to do the photo shoot, and then he came along with us because he hadn't recorded yet. So he came to the photo shoot, and then a couple days later, you did the video. So I don't know if we planted that to him or he to us or whatever. Because I have pictures of him, but they weren't doing the video. We did the shoot before the video.
All I do remember is that we were all there, and
wow, that's impressive.
I'm shocked too.
I know. Dude,
shut it, Dave.
Dude, man, 30 years is hard to remember stuff.
But
no,
they brought up their film cameras and set up a PA out in that
after the photo
fucking lake bed.
Yes.
And for time code for the filming of it, we had to lip sync to the music that we heard through these PA speakers while they filmed it, and then they went back to LA and edited it.
Yeah.
And then it became our first MTV video that did pretty good. I mean, I was just so in awe that we're going to be on MTV. What? I was.
Well, that was so cool. No,
it was an amazing time.
The whole
it really
town was so happy for you. I mean, like, that's the thing.
It was super fun.
We all celebrated everybody's successes. Like,
that was the one thing about the Seattle scene that I never saw in any other scene, although I'm sure it happened. Portland, people were supportive of their bands up to a point. LA, everybody was just against each other, from what I understand from the stories I've heard from guys that ended up moving there. And, Duff McKagan.
Well, and I lived there.
And
I
you
mean, I
moved
lived there
there?
for a year, and it was just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's going on down here. But
See,
I mean,
don't see it-
how are you going to make a difference if you're not supporting your artists? And then if you're not
Super
supporting
cool.
them, they're not supporting you. And so how is anything going to grow? It's
Right.
like, oh my gosh, like it was weird. But that's why I moved back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When did you make?
That's why a lot of people
when
move
did you
back.
make the trip to L.A.?
Oh, so when I went to LA it was like very like late 80s, early 90s. And then I lived down there and I had my studio at the brewery, which was this really cool like artist loft, right? And it was like the who's who of anybody had a studio in there. And so I rented studio space. And then I don't know, I was actually doing really well, but I just didn't like the vibe of LA. And then I moved back and they're like, "Why are you leaving? You're so successful." I'm like, "Well, if I'm successful here, I'll be successful in Seattle." And then so I moved back and then that's right when grunge hit. And then and so now I have all these LA connections. And they're like, "We don't know any photographers in Seattle." And they're like, "Karen, can you go to get this picture of this band? Karen, can you?" And so now I have all these connections. And then of course all my friends, Jerry Cantrell, "Karen, take our pictures. Owen, take our pictures, I mean, everybody, Andrew Wood, "Karen, take our pictures." And so then I just started taking everybody's pictures again.
Speaking of pictures and photos,
Yep.
can you hand me that one right here? So this is one of the most, I think, iconic shots.
Well, this is a little different than the other one. Here, I'm going to hand it to you. It's not heavy because it's
Kurt Cobain, which I think is one of the most badass photos I've ever seen of him, just stark naked in black on white, playing his left-handed Jaguar.
yeah.
Bitchin' photo.
So I had that photo, and like no magazine would have ever printed that photo. So I just let it sit in my file cabinet. And then so now when I'm rolling out the flannel years, I'm like, look at this photo. And it's like one of my most, like, I sell more of that photo than any other photo. And
It's a great shot.
And it's just like all that black and just the light because they were filming that HD video. So they had that extra light, which is you don't get often. And I was standing standing on the side stage and I just see it. And I'm like, because music is my first love and then photography. So it's like I'm listening to the music and I'm waiting for the moment and I'm waiting for the light. And it's just like, and of course, if you're familiar with the music, you're like, oh, he's going to do this or do that. Yeah. So it's like super fun, I mean, fuck, can you believe taking pictures of rock bands? Wow. I mean, it's so fun. But look what I found when I was getting ready to come over here. It's like, you're invited to my Sister's Machine record release party.
Wait, I didn't even get invited to that.
I know. And I got these photos. Look at all this. There's Gene Stout and
Good
Jeff
God.
Hurt. Oh, and here's Tommy. I thought Tommy was in one.
Oh my God, I remember this photo.
This is I don't think I've ever seen these, but I'm glad you look at you.
That is awesome.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's Tommy, I think.
The gunner
Tommy Gunn.
and the jeweler, I think.
Well, and didn't you just interview? Wasn't he just on your pod?
Yeah, we just had Paul on. It was a great pod.
Yeah. So Paul's there. But wait. Here's the one. Look at Owen and Karen. Look at that. I don't think I've seen that.
Good God, we're a beautiful disaster.
Big hair.
Isn't
I
that fun?
think we went to my Viking boat after that and had dinner.
Always a good time, Oh.
Yeah, baby.
Never change.
No.
No.
I
Why
will
would
not.
we? No, don't. We just got here.
So we've gone over, on all these pods that I do, I make a list of questions that I want the artist to answer. And at this point, we're going to come up to now. Currently, what projects are you working on? I know you're promoting your photos with, what do they call those openings?
Pop-ups.
Yep. So tell us about that. How's that been going?
Well, it's fantastic. So I released my book, and like I had my, I unveiled these photos like 6 years ago, and 50% of them nobody had ever seen before. They were all never before seen because they'd been sitting in my file cabinet. And so now I keep like even if you guys follow me on my Instagram, like my new thing right now is like almost every Friday, if not every other Friday, I'm trying to release a previously unreleased photo.
Cool.
So I have all sorts of photos people haven't seen, and that's why I'm rolling out some, Ramones and some Billy Idol and whatever, stuff people are just like, what? You took that picture? And Joan Jett, people are losing it. And I'm like, yeah, because
Great.
they're just sitting around, and so I'm doing that. And then, yeah, things are going really well. And I just got into Sub Pop stores,
Cool.
which is at the airport, and they're over there by the Spheres. And so they're selling my product. And then, of course, I've been at Easy Street for a while now. And then I'm doing that thing called the retro photo sessions where
I've heard of that, but I don't know. What is that?
yeah. So what I do is so people book a session, and then they show up, and then I recreate my Kurt Cobain
Oh,
with the glasses. So I give them the glasses, and then they walk out with the picture of Kurt Cobain and the picture of them, and they look just like Kurt Cobain.
oh my God, that's so cool. So
yeah, by the same photographer. It's pretty rad.
let's refresh
Love it.
everybody. We can find your photos and your art at give us so Easy Street,
Oh, yeah.
KarenMasonBlair.com,
Sub Pop, yeah.
Sub Pop.
Yes. And then I have my own store called Grunge Mart, but it's related to my website. So, and then so now I just got into the Edgewater. They have a store at the Edgewater, and so I'm selling fine art at the Edgewater.
Really?
Good for you.
Yeah.
I bartended there.
Oh my gosh, I just loaded in yesterday, so it's going to be a thing. So anybody, if you want to buy fine art, go down there.
I actually was there for a bachelor party. I don't know how we got away with that, but I actually, halfway through the bachelor party, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to go and rent a fishing pole. And I went and fished from one of their windows.
Yeah, no,
Dude,
that's a
It's
thing.
a thing.
Yeah.
They're totally into that. Oh,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
have a Pearl Jam suite. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
they have
they
a
have a Pearl
Pearl
Jam-
Jam suite
A Beatles
Why?
suite as
and a
well.
Beatles suite.
Oh, but just because they stayed there.
And so, but it's really cool. So yeah, I got to go in there and take some pictures. But yeah, so it's super fun. And then then I'm just having other shows and selling stuff.
So at this point, I think we're gonna wrap up the show, and I want to say so much thanks to my friend Karen Mason Blair. Thank you for taking the
Aw.
time
Hey,
on
now.
a Sunday.
No, we love you. I mean, Owen, thank you for doing this. I mean, this is just really
it's a lot of fun.
special.
I am.
I mean, and
enjoying it immensely.
Yeah, and like the thing about Owen, I mean, he has such a big heart, and that's why he can have so many people on his podcast. I mean, like, the whole grunge thing was love and support, baby.
Yeah.
And now Owen gets to bring that back and let everybody know that we were all in love and that we all
Buddy.
built it together. And I mean, it was just so beautiful.
It's been a cool thing, and this pod and watchcast is it's not about me, even though I'm the host. And I have been reached out to by so many people I haven't heard in so long. Thank you again for being here. I love you, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
Where do you
Woohoo!
want to go for dinner?
Your choice.
David, thank you for being an awesome director, awesome producer. You're the man. This is Seattle Sound, then and now.
Rock on. Woo!